We talked about all week a lot of the position battles and who's going to make the team. We spent a lot of time on Gavin Sheets yesterday. He's trying to play his way onto a roster. But where we haven't really seen too much, or we haven't talked about too much because we're still letting it play out, is the fifth spot in the rotation. And who is that going to be? There's basically four pitchers battling for that fifth spot. It's Matt Waldron, it's Randy Vasquez, it's Steven Kolick, and it's Kyle Hart. And we haven't even seen a lot of Kyle Hart yet. The thing we have seen from Kyle Hart was his introductory interview at spring training, which we'll get to in a little bit. There's some good stuff still in there that we can mention. But Kyle Hart, we haven't seen a lot in the Cactus League. He has yet to officially appear in a Cactus League game, as last Friday he recorded 2 strikeouts in his scoreless 2-inning Cactus League debut against the Brewers on Friday. Although rain shortened his outing and ultimately led to the game being canceled before it became official, Mike Schultz said, "I just want to go see him pitch. It's unfair for me to have too high of expectations with guys that I've never really seen before, but clearly he's legitimately in the mix to be the 5th starter." He's starting to pop up on a lot of different outlets' predictions to be the number 5 starter. He is coming off a magical season in the Korean Baseball Organization where he won the Choi Dong Award, KBO's equivalent to the Cy Young. He finished the season 13-3 with a 2.69 ERA across 26 starts, registering 182 strikeouts on 157 innings. Guy was unbelievable. He hadn't pitched in Major League Baseball since 2020. And in MLB, his stats obviously were not that great. He has a career negative 0.9 WAR, 0-1 with a 15.55 ERA, but he only made 3 starts and pitched 11 innings in the big leagues with 13 strikeouts. Spent time at Indiana, played at Indiana. And earlier in spring training, when asked about facing Kyle Hart, Jake Cronenworth said, "I haven't faced him since college when Jake Cronenworth was at Michigan." And I do recall him talking about, but it was a lot different than what I just saw along those lines. In fact, he got crossed up on a pitch where Hart punched him out with some good stuff. Now, this is like early on. Spent his entire career for a long time with Boston, all the way through 2022 in the Boston organization. Only played in the big leagues, as I mentioned, for 11 innings in 2020. Went back down to AAA, bounced around AAA, AA, was part of Seattle's organization in 2023, and then got sent to Philadelphia before last season going to the KBO. I already love his attitude, and I love the way that he puts everything together. I love the fact that on day one, he started saying we as an organization need to be able to knock off the Dodgers. We as an organization this, we need an organization that. There's clips of him in the KBO stepping up for his teammates and not taking any flack from the other teams. All of his mental makeup is great. And the fact that he is still part of this rotation debate without even appearing in a Cactus League game, I think goes a long way of what he is accomplishing right now in the backfields and just how nasty he has been for the San Diego Padres. Some outlets are starting to pick it out. I'm just going to say it right now. Kyle Hart will be the number 5 starter for the San Diego Padres come opening day. I think he gives you the best opportunity to succeed. I think with the season that he had last year, even though it being in the KBO, going 13-3 with a 2.69 ERA, over 26 starts. I love his fiery approach. I love the fact that he, doesn't care about what may be happening in Los Angeles. He's ready to take on everybody at their best. I mean, he's giving me a lot of Nick Martinez vibes right now. And Nick Martinez kind of had a little bit of the same start to his career like Kyle Hart. The difference was obviously Nick went to Japan. But Nick started off not that great with the Rangers, put up okay numbers, didn't get another opportunity, went to Japan, bet on himself, got a contract at the Padres, became that fiery pitcher, starter, middle relief guy for the Padres, and now he's getting paid in Cincinnati. And good for Nick. But Kyle Hart can definitely match that energy. I mean, these are players that we have gotten, the Padres have gotten from Japan before, in which they weren't necessarily the best pitcher in Japan, but being the best pitcher out of Korea and being one of the best pitchers in the KBO, I think goes a long way. And so far, the track record for AJ Preller has been spot on. At $1.5 million, if Kyle Hart could be the number 5 starter and go out there and maybe be that Nick Martinez type, this Padres rotation and pitching staff is going to be in a lot better shape than anticipated. And you look at the rotation, you look at some of the players that would not be part of that rotation if Kyle Hart wins the starting spot and then runs with it. Steven Kolitz looked good in the spring. We know what Matt Waldron brings from a knuckleball perspective. I like the future of Randy Vasquez. This is adding arms. They might not be household names yet in Major League Baseball like some other teams have that might scare you. But the way that this team is assembled, you're going to have to rely on some of these guys becoming the next version of what the Padres have had in the past. It's almost like that fill in the blank that we're actually going to talk about later. I'll even tease it. At noon, we're going to talk about this year's blank will be blank. This year's Michael King will be Kyle Hart. Low-level deal, throwing into the rotation, a guy that doesn't have a lot of big league starting experience. He might be the biggest difference maker for the Padres rotation in 2025. Kyle Hart is going to be the number 5 starter for the San Diego Padres come opening day. That's my bold prediction. That's what I'm going with. I can't wait to see him pitch. Who knows if I just curse him in the next Cactus League game that he is able to pitch in. But so many great things have been said about Kyle Hart. And so many outlets are starting to pick up and project him to be the number 5 starter. I'm going to say it right now. Kyle Hart will be the number 5 starter come opening